welcome to World and Economica, Part 3. So this is the conclusion of the trilogy, and I don't know how many of you guys stick around for just the visual novels or what have you, but over the past week, between right when I actually uploaded the end of Part 2 and this video, I did get sick, and I know my voice hasn't entirely returned. My breathing's a little heavy, so it might get picked up on the microphone. Those are disclaimers I'm putting out right now. I don't know how long you guys wanted to wait for this to start off for me to be at 100%, but I can still get this moving forward, and we'll see how it goes. Now, I've noticed that this is, I believe, the exact same engine Part 2 was rendered in, but the good news is I found out that you actually can display the art by right-clicking. So we can actually look at the various images when they're actually live on there. So if I ever see any more of those crazy wall... I don't even know what you would call Eleanor's wall. Definitely something along the lines of the ramblings of a lunatic, but yeah. So we'll be able to see that in all its detail. Now as for this part, if it's arranged just like Part 2, it's going to be the exact same number of videos, which is 10. If you didn't notice, let me actually start this, and then I'll go into length before we actually kick things off. So where we last left off, we were basically forced to stop by a human shield situation. Basically, Barton was hiding behind the people who threw their money into Avalon, thinking it was a safe investment. And if you don't actually get the whole real-life parallel between Avalon and Enron, it's extremely similar. They're both involved in energy. They're reporting their earnings and building stuff where they're not actually building stuff, and I'm kind of curious if its fate is going to play out the exact same way as Enron's did. So, before you think that this is all just a work of fiction, there's some basis in the real world, just none of the moon stuff, obviously. Hopefully. And ironically, as I say this, this is one day after the approved mission to Mars, so yeah. Let's just get this on its way. Forgot his name. Gazanika, that's it. So, if you didn't notice for Part 2, when one of these dots filled in, that's basically when I put a break in the video. This seemed to be a nice way to actually divide things up, and as doing it like that, I could do 10 chapters, it looks like. For this one, since the first one isn't filled in, I don't remember... I don't remember if the 10th dot ever got filled in, or if that was just, hey, the game's over. So this one might actually be 11 parts, then I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go back and look. So yeah, depending on whether this is 10 or 11 parts, obviously you can see that this is going to be the project for the weekend for the next 2.5 months, approximately. So when this goes live, it'll be the last week of March. That'll take up the entirety of April and May. It'll probably be the first week of June when this actually wraps up. Then we can move on to the next novel. And there are a few candidates already lined up, but we'll go into more detail about that as we go because some of them are not quite released that I'm actually watching. Thank you for that warm introduction. I am Fidel Gazanika. God knows why, but for some reason I'm President of the Moon. When the middle-aged bearded man standing at the podium said those words, the crowd burst into laughter. By the way, real quick, right-click, and now you can admire everything in its entirety. He appeared in his trademark rolled-up sleeves, arm resting on the podium as if he was leaning over a balcony. But if that earns me the opportunity to give speeches at momentous events such as this, then I don't think being president is all that bad. Applause. Gazanika, smiling, raised his right hand, and the audience became quiet. Gazanika put on an expression befitting the 6th president of the lunar surface and spoke. I have no intention of impeding free enterprise. However, it is well known that the wealth disparity on the lunar surface is only becoming wider. The rich get richer, and so on. It will take an enormous amount of goodwill to rectify this, but I believe that those on the lunar surface have it in them. At a glance, his fiery beard and well-built body made him appear gruff, but it was the way he projected that captivated the audience and endeared them to him. His performances have gotten a little better. His performances have gotten a lot better. He used to just yell all the time. So is that Marco? That quip... Oh, holy. Look, Hal finally has his tie down. Wow. That quip was whispered in my ear. Glancing over, I saw Marco next to me, sticking out his tongue and making a face like some sort of imp. Though I may be unworthy, I and the current administration will continue our struggle in the Parliament. But our opposition is proving very resilient. We must not falter for even a second in this battle. We cannot falter. Applause. Oh, they're gonna hand out the verdict soon. How do you think it will turn out? Who knows? Depending on the outcome, things will probably start getting hectic again. I wonder about that. An incident from a mere 4 years ago on the moon would feel like an incident from 30 years ago on Earth. You haven't changed at all, Hal. I'll take that as a compliment. Of course, I meant it as one. To that end, it is a great honor to have been asked to take part in this momentum commencement ceremony, and it inspires me to keep fighting. Lastly, there is one person who's given his expertise and passion to this crucial project. The man who shares my dream, the hero of the lunar surface, Haru Kawara. Everyone give this man a round of applause. Gazanika extended a hand in my direction, and the audience's gaze focused on me. There were some who appeared wealthy, but others were in work clothes as they come straight from their jobs. This assembly was located in a garden surrounded by a newly built apartment complex. The gentle afternoon sunshine poured down on us. I obediently stood and gave a slight bow. The red ribbon on my chest was rather embarrassing, but wearing it was part of my duty, and I would deal with it as such. Many rose from their seats to applaud me, and when the applause died down, I bowed my head again and took my seat. Speaking as the incumbent, hearing your applause makes me pray that he doesn't throw his hat in our next election. This joke got everyone laughing, and the applause was back on Gazanika. When Gazanika left the podium, the next guest was called, and a different gentleman rose to the stage. Hal, it's time. Marco stated, glancing at his old-fashioned watch, and I sensed there was someone behind me. Before I could turn around, a hand came to rest on my shoulder, and I knew it was Gazanika. As of this moment, it is public knowledge. Gazanika seemed much more like a politician now than he had at the podium. Kevin Lath's appeal has been denied. His guilt is settled. Hal? Marco whimpered as he said my name. I closed my eyes upon hearing Gazanika's words. Mysteriously, I wasn't overcome with emotion, possibly because this whole ordeal was several years old. No, I don't think that's why. The enormous corporation known as Avalon, at one point referred to as the Sun King, filed for bankruptcy, and its administration faced litigation due to accounting fraud. Moreover, because of the sheer scale of the enterprise and its wrongdoings, the full extent of this case was still not entirely clear. And just as I feared, due to our investigation and unmasking of this wolf in sheep's clothing, Avalon stocks became little more than scraps of paper, and everyone who invested into them lost everything. Among them were a lot of Avalon employees who owned stocks as part of their retirement pension. They weren't involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever. All they did was work diligently day in and day out, yet they lost their jobs, their pensions, and their savings. Avalon was an illusion, a phantom company that mostly existed on paper, and that is what makes this victory bittersweet. The reality is that while some people tout me as the hero who casts light on the darkness, I've also received angry messages from people who lost everything, saying that if I just kept my mouth shut, the lie could have remained the truth. Eleanor and I were simply abiding by our own convictions and felt that what we did was necessary. We couldn't simply ignore it. Eleanor wanted to realize justice. I wanted to settle my past. We did what we had to do. Maybe we were egotistical. Our actions begot results, and along with them responsibilities. I intend to accept them, and I will continue down what I believe is the right path. I figured that my lack of emotion upon hearing that the CEO of Avalon, Kevin Lath, had been found guilty was the result of me growing up. Gazanika had placed his hand on my shoulder, and I reached up to give it a light squeeze. That's one loose end tied up. Yes, we've still got a mountain of adversaries to overcome. Shaking my shoulder firmly, Gazanika headed off, his bodyguards following him. Eleanor and I alone were not enough to expose Avalon's wrongdoings. Recruiting Gazanika, a politician who was, at the time, considered something of a heretic on the lunar surface, could be considered something of a mutually beneficial deal. Using Gazanika's strong personality and status as an ally of the people, we could force the Parliament to act. By turning this into a political issue, we believed we could get the courts to act. And Gazanika, armed with the knowledge that Avalon's wrongdoings were directly linked to the lunar surface's lifeline, the price of energy, and fueled by righteous indignation, could use this to further his political career. In the end, Gazanika had fulfilled our desires while achieving a victory in a presidential election. It's been 4 years since then. Some things have changed, some haven't. I watched as another speaker rose to the podium and motioned for Margot to get up. Let's go. We have work to do. Okay. Though we were leaving, the speeches continued and the ceremony went on without us. This housing project was established in the midst of soaring real estate prices and a worsening homelessness problem. The majority of the ceremony's attendees were those lucky enough to be moving into these shiny new buildings. The rest were those who had helped fund the project. When I looked over the sponsors' seats, my eyes locked on one person. There was Risa, looking prim as always and full of composure. I gave her a short wave and she replied with a wink. I guess Risa doesn't wear her habit anymore. Margot lamented, picking up on our exchange. She said it's hard to move around in more ways than one. That's a shame. Marco, being an Earth fanboy, spoke with a lot of disappointment in his voice. By the time we'd exited into the courtyard, he took out his tablet, seeming to forget his woes, and we got into the taxi waiting for us. Not too long ago, this was a rather luxurious service, though that hasn't been the case lately. Not to mention that since it became known that Avalon wasn't actually producing energy, countless solar panels were installed, which resulted in the price of solar energy returning to a manageable amount. The climate inside the lunar surface dome was set to match about the same temperature as spring on Earth, and the weather at today's ceremony had been just fine. To Schrödinger Street, please. The driver nodded at Margot's request and the taxi took off. Hey, Hal. How are you going to handle the Arabs' investments? I glanced back at the housing project receding from view and replied, I'll accept them if they're up to par. If they don't, I won't. You're as strict as always. It is a lot of money, you know. We don't need it at the moment. Or are you saying we should take anything we can get if it raises the stakes? That's not what I'm saying. It's just that it'd be nice to keep this channel open in case we need it in the future. Or something. Margot pouted. When the buildings were completely out of sight, I turned forward. You have to stick to what you think is right. That's just as important as the outcome. The taxi sped off toward the place where all the power and wealth on the lunar surface gathered, Newton City. Money begets money. An indisputable truth of society mentioned even in the Bible and revered in academia as the Matthew effect. The same words are written in the Gospel of Matthew, a part of the Bible which was composed thousands of years ago. So unfortunately I don't remember this offhand. Like, the parable that comes to mind is the parable of the talents. I don't know if this is the Gospel of Matthew or what exactly, but it's supposed to be a, keep in mind a talent was a unit of money back then. It does have a bit of a different meaning these days, but so the proverb or parable still has some weight. But a wealthy man gathers 3 of his servants. He gives the first servant 10 talents and sends him on his way. He gives the second servant 5 talents and sends him on his way. He gives the third servant a single talent and sends him on his way. Then after a period of time, I don't know if it's a month, a year, what have you, he calls them back to see what they've done with their money, or their talents, I mean. So the first one is supposed to have invested into something or another, yielded a profit, and everyone gains as a result. The second one decided to loan it out. The person used it for something worthwhile, the loan was repaid, he has some interest for his trouble, and the key thing is everyone benefited. The third servant chose to bury his talent and do nothing with it, and as a result, no one benefited. So that is the whole story, in case you're wondering. Basically, what you're given, you're supposed to intend to share or use to somehow better things around you, so it's kind of a variant of noblesse oblige, I guess. But it could also mean money should beget money, as in Hal trying to explain it right there. The lunar surface was 1 or 2 digits lower in population area and years of history than Earth, yet it surpassed even the greatest of superpowers in terms of wealth generation. This new frontier for the human race, the lunar surface, was developed by those up-and-coming white-collar workers who wanted to escape Earth's repressive gravity, as well as those who could not bear the restraints and hindrances of Earth, bringing only their fortunes and aspirations with them. The rate of development was unprecedented, and though many problems arose, they managed to pull through. Thanks in large part to a tax rate which was practically tax-free from Earth's point of view, as well as non-interference regulations, the lunar surface became a money-making utopia. In the past, the Pope had dubbed this place the Land of Avarice. It was a well-known secret that at the Vatican, a church organization managing the huge amounts of donations was unofficially investing in the lunar surface. Noon City, the nerve center of the lunar surface, where those with green in their eyes chased after wealth. As lively as usual, it had been an ambience of imperiousness, glamour, and freedom that you could only find in this never-ending maelstrom of wealth and greed. And staying out predominantly within Noon City, having made its way to the world's largest financial district, was Schrödinger Street. Had to get a drink of water. We're only 17 minutes in and I'm already straining. The car we were riding missed Schrödinger Street by 1 turn, arriving in a district with a somewhat calmer atmosphere. Marco paid the fare and I exited ahead of him. 4 years ago I couldn't walk without a cane, but now I only felt a little stiffness in my left leg. I did sometimes carry a cane around, but that was only because everyone expected me to have one. Though I was aware of how ostentatious being known as the hero who felled Avalon sounded, it had its advantages when doing business. A new contact might go, "Oh, you're that guy," and be more willing to trust us. I felt I'd become more cunning than I was as a kid, or even in the 4 years prior. Now I could recall my past rather calmly. If the me from 8 years ago could see me now, I'm sure he'd scowl at how easily I could attain the grand dreams I chased. No. In the first place, could the me from 8 years ago have even imagined that I'd end up working so closely with the president? Me from 4 years ago probably wouldn't believe it either. Right now, there's pretty much no higher position I could hold. That was why I had to make the best of my current situation. While musing, I took a deep breath. I had recalled Chris's words. I believed there was a strong wind blowing over the lunar surface. As long as you could catch it, that wind would take you wherever you wanted to go. Hal! As I was reveling in reflection, someone suddenly called my name. It wasn't Marco. Looking up, I saw the face of a familiar and up-and-comer from the sector. It was John Eagle. There were many upstarts making more money than they should be able to at their age, but it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was the front-runner among them. So that's about as an American name as you can get out of a Japanese person, I guess. Just who I was looking for. I was about to head over to your place to ask you about something. He rushed up to me with a friendly smile. Eagle acted as if he hadn't even seen Marco, and Marco's expression turned sour. They were at odds, like a bouncer and an over-enthusiastic guest. Sorry, I've got a few meetings lined up. Right, of course, I have nothing to gain from holding you up. Just as wealth begets wealth, success draws people. I became famous in the trading sector after bringing down Avalon. Never giving up, pushing forward regardless of how foolish it seemed. By uncovering that enormous scandal, I was heralded as a great hero. Whenever I tried to explain that hero was a bit of an exaggeration, I would be told that even my humility was heroic. At that point, I decided to just let it slide. Besides, regardless of my wishes, whether someone had value here or not was decided purely on the performance of their investments. As time passed, I should get an evaluation more in line with my true self. You went to your project's commencement ceremony today, didn't you? Or was it the Royal Central Hotel, right? Well, you wouldn't have it at a place like that. It was in the place that used to be called Red Valley. Actually, you might not know what I mean by that. It's a place that might have been considered a slum on Earth, though you wouldn't know that. Looking at it now. That's great, right? I'm thinking that when I'll be handling a large scale of assets, I'd like to go into your sector, the charity sector. It's a mark of greatness, after all. I hope you'd be willing to mentor me when the time comes. He stuck right next to Marco and me as we walked. Eagle had the most innocent of smiles on his face as he entered the rundown building's elevator with us. He was the manager of a growing investment fund firm. Okay, so this is actually kind of new and cool. So before they didn't actually give you any, like, way to check the lexicon, you actually either had to know it or look it up yourself. This is actually a pretty nice improvement. Although this comes in different forms, refers to hedge funds where fund managers invest backed by wealthy investors, 20 to 30% profits are charged. He was the manager of a growing investment fund firm. Investing fund firm? Yeah, it's supposed to be investment. He was the manager of a growing investment fund firm in a single-room office on the same floor. I wonder if he was even in his 20s yet. His investment performance had increased by a staggering 1,320% over the course of a year. He was a perfect example of a Lunarian success story, and I probably would have ended up like this myself 8 years ago if I had done a perfect run without stumbling even once. So there's a stock I wanted to ask you about. It's a real lucky find. One of Harold Brothers' whack job analysts gave them a really bad critique, but I thought, yeah, there's something off about this. So I did a bit of digging, and I realized they were clearly misreading the numbers, and so I guess he kept blathering on and on in the elevator like that because he was overexcited like a guy who kept winning his bets. In order to win 1,320%, you had to be able to boast a near-perfect win rate. At that point, it must have felt like you were the ruler of the galaxy. He continued speaking earnestly, with me nodding occasionally, and even gave me a printout he prepared of analysis of the stock he mentioned. I guess the old adage, never tip your hand, didn't mean much to guys like this. Those who had succeeded so much they thought they were the rulers of the galaxy believed they could always find the keys to success. So they didn't seem to care about one or two deals where someone called dibs before them. But more than that, they wanted others to know of their skills and foresight, and for those they were considered allies to share in their success. They harbored no ill intentions. They were totally innocent and incredibly optimistic. I passed Eagle's stock analysis over to Marco saying politely, "Thanks, I'll take a look." He might be wealthy even by the moon standards, but my acknowledgement still made him beam with delight. When the elevator doors opened, the group hanging around in the break room in front of us, all somewhat resembling Eagle, looked up. The stock market was closed today, though none of them seemed to grasp that concept. They all spoke at once, but I just forced a smile and kept silent, so he could move his face again. Thanks to Marco protecting me like he was my bodyguard, I was able to get past without being mobbed like a celebrity. Alright, Hal, see ya. Let's meet up later tonight. Eagle had probably been lying in wait for me earlier so he could pop that line to show off to his rivals. I had a feeling turning around would just cause more hassle, so I just waved over my shoulder. I could make out the others who were around his age, undoubtedly from his investment firm, bitterly singing his praises. There was something called cowboy capitalism, and this might exactly be it. I do not know this term, I'm afraid. Folks with energy like them jumped on their horses and lassoed a fortune. On the lunar surface, there were scruffy-haired lab-coat-wearing geniuses, suit-clad business elites skilled at manipulating people, and guys like Eagle who were amassing fortunes with nothing but their youth and their moxie. I couldn't be like them anymore, though. living for profit and drunk off the thrill of success. It's because I had a purpose and unyielding convictions that I could move forward. Margot moved ahead and opened the door in front of me. The office, with its metal nameplate, remained unchanged. Schweitzer Investment. I received all of this from Eleanor, and the other guys considered it something like a holy site. It was a very important place to me, too. This was the place where everything ended and everything began. No matter how many years passed, I still felt a little nervous whenever I entered. Here, and from here onward. That was what I always told myself. Today, as I was once again able to take a step forward, someone else appeared from the hallway. Oh, my. Good afternoon, Hal. I glanced toward the voice to see a tall, auburn-haired woman stand smiling at me. It was Maria Claude, a fellow trader who had set up her office in the next room over. Good afternoon to you as well, Margot. Back from the ceremony? Yes, I hope you're doing well too, Miss Maria. Margot replied, flustered. He's rather cold with other guys, but he's always courteous around Maria. I'm sorry we couldn't make it. We really would have liked to have been there as well. We had a meeting that we just couldn't miss. It's alright. This is just the beginning. Those who are able to support us in the long run are more important than the big shots who are just there to make public appearances while pretending to be aloof. I'm happy to hear it. As Maria smiled, another person spoke. Indeed, it is but the beginning. A squat, elderly man stepped out from Maria's shadow. It is just that, the beginning. Why do they not understand that? Hello, Dr. Wallace. When I greeted the sharp-eyed elderly man, he glanced at me and nodded confidently. You are one of the very few individuals able to keep the scales balanced around here. In fact, there may only be a handful like you among the human race. That's true. If anyone can keep a level head, it's Hal. Now then, Chief. The fact that humanity is so inept at shaping the future is astonishing. We must never forget the past. 1929, 1987, 2002. Humanity has repeated its mistakes time and time again. Each time has been dire and far-reaching. So, I'm not sure about all these dates. 1929 is the stock market crash that caused the Great Depression. Now, 87... I don't really remember anything happening during Reagan's administration. That might be the OPEC thing, maybe? I'm not sure when that happened. And then 2002 is making me think of the whole decline that started during the Bush Jr. presidency. Kind of slated as the Great Recession, even though it's much, much worse than that. Well then, Hal, Marco, see you later. Maria smiled at us and opening the door led the grumbling Dr. Wallace through it. It looked for all the world like a girl taking care of an elderly man, though I'm sure there are those who claim that's actually what their relationship is. And as she was following Wallace into the room, she suddenly turned around. Oh, right. What is it? You'll be going to tonight's meeting, won't you? Yes. In that case, I have a favor to ask of you. What do you need? Our funding scale seems small, so I hadn't received an invitation, but the chief insists on going. So Hal, could you... Maria, normally so cheerful, trailed off. I could feel Marco's eyes boring into me, but I nodded with a smile. I understand. I'd be more than happy to keep him company. My, really? I'd really appreciate it. I don't mind. He's always full of wonderful insight. He's one of the few on the moon who really knows how to short sell. If you don't know what that is, stocks are borrowed and sold for $100, we'll say. These are repurchased when the price drops to $90 and are returned to the lender, leaving $10 in possession, a method to profit from price drops. I'm glad to hear it, it's just... Maria glanced into the office and stepped into the hallway, closing the door behind her. She looked terribly exhausted. Business hasn't been great lately, and things are starting to get worse. That happens every now and then in this business, especially in Wallace's case, since his method is to invest in things others don't want to touch. I can only guess how stressful that must be. lowered her head. When she looked up again, she was smiling confidently. You could cheer up any investor in the world with the way you talk, Hal. If that was true, I'd never have any losses. Maria smiled, gave a quick bow, and then returned to her office. On the door was a bronze plate inscribed with Wallace Capital Management. They were one of the most prominent, die-hard short sellers on the lunar surface. No, in the world. Short selling was a method of investing where investors made money on stocks or anything marketable, in fact, as their value decreased. Those who practiced short selling tended to ignore other kinds of investing. There were types of investment strategies, but short sellers were very rare among investors. Most investment horror stories ended with someone wagering everything on a stock expecting its price to rise, only to have the opposite happen. So wagering on the expectation that prices would fall wasn't such a bad strategy. The problem was that it was all based on logic and didn't take human rationality into account. If you wanted to know why people didn't like short sellers, you had to think about why stocks were issued in the first place. Normally, the founders of public companies expected their enterprises to be profitable and issued stocks to increase their value. Naturally, those who invested in a company also believed it would be successful. Short sellers were despised because, while everyone else was looking toward a brighter future, they profited off of the endless supply of others' failures. They were seen as degenerates who went against conventional logic. Among them, Wallace's remarks were particularly cutting, and the fact that his financial analysis and management skills were impeccable didn't smooth things over. However, he was a man with conviction who'd die for his beliefs, and he was likely the only person in the entire world to have counted on short-selling Avalon stock. Because of that, he was one of the few who was able to make a profit off the turmoil resulting from Avalon's indictment, which earned him the title King of Pessimism. I glanced at the door leading to Wallace's battlefield for a moment before stepping into my own office. When the door closed, Marco spoke to me. Seems like they weren't able to attend the ceremony because it was a fundraising meeting. I heard they're down 14% from their last quarter. Must be hard. In the present market, a literal monkey could go around haphazardly buying things up and still end up with a positive return. That's the risk you take when you go against the current and challenge conventional wisdom. Must have been tough 4 years ago when he was trying to short sell on Avalon stock. I just can't understand his philosophy. Well, he does have a few hardline followers. If you have allies who will fight to their last breaths, you have nothing to fear. I hope so. I'd had allies like that before, and I knew what it was like to abandon them. Based on those experiences, I could hazard a guess that Wallace would be just fine. He must have already gone through harsher stuff that would have broken a weaker man's spirit by now. Marco seemed to ponder whether he should speak at all for a moment, then spoke his mind. There have been a lot of rumors lately. I've heard that he's been sinking a lot of money into something outrageous. Besides, there's quite a difference between using short selling as one option out of several and relying solely on short selling. My, that's quite the criticism. Well, I knew you didn't like pessimism. Marco sulked. So what are you trying to tell me? With that, he made up his mind. Well, the rumors. It's irresponsible. I don't think we should associate too openly with him. Money begat money, and success drew people. Conversely, failure begat failure, and losers spread misfortune like a plague. You mean, on top of our own fund's performance starting to lose steam? Marco reacted as though he was being scolded. I wouldn't go that far. We're still pulling strong figures. Keening Goldsmith sure seemed upset, though. He's a little... There was an individual from Earth who had contributed a fair amount to the investment fund I managed, but he seemed to be rather high-strung and constantly messaging us with questions. I guess it wasn't that unreasonable, though, given just how much he'd entrusted to us. Then again, there were always going to be someone like that in successful business, so I wasn't worried about it. But for Marco, who was the one actually replying to his messages, he must have been one of the clients Marco just couldn't handle. Anyway, there are a lot of lessons to be learned from Earth's history. Huh? Supposedly when the whole world was at war long ago, a prime minister of a great country paid out a large sum of money to build a team comprised solely of pessimists to contrast his own judgment. Wallace is right. It's a scale to be balanced. And I've never met anyone as uncompromisingly pessimistic as him. If you're trying to find a pessimist with that kind of analytical ability in today's world, you might as well be looking for a psychic. You're not wrong. Why would you go out of your way to look for pessimistic outlooks when you can make money in your sleep? Every conversation with him is valuable. He's full of insights you can't find anywhere else. That's true, bud. And to top it all off, he never backs down, no matter who he is up against. I'm actually kind of looking forward to tonight. I smirked at Marco. He replied with a reluctant half-smile. You're so childish sometimes, Hal. I'll take that as a compliment. I'm starting to get a little worried. What kind of speech is he going to make in a place filled with the most successful people on the moon? Marco seemed to be getting pretty upset. Then again, I knew what he was feeling. It wasn't a matter of logic, but one of emotion. I could tell Marco was putting on an act, though. He's never been good at lying. Hey, if you don't like it, no one's forcing you to go. What? No, that's not what I meant. I'll still go. Marco replied, acting like I had insulted him. I shrugged and pointed to the wall dividing our office from Wallace's. After all, Maria's going to be all by herself until the meeting's over. God. Even the lunar surface isn't quite safe lately. Even when they were in the red, they still donated generously to the housing project. You wouldn't mind thanking Maria in person, would you? Marco stood still, his mouth hanging open. I'm counting on you. No, yeah, certainly, leave it to me. He straightened right up as he said that. It felt good to be someone's wingman. After thinking that, I approached my desk saying, well, time for work. I glanced at the ridiculously large picture adorning the office wall. Bright red on a black background. The dream I'd been chasing ever since I was a child. Mars. We've got a long way to go. Got it. Marco's energetic response echoed through the office. Investment funds were a fitting business for the lunar surface. No large-scale manufacturing, different human resource management, or enormous warehouses to worry about. Your office could be in a room in the corner of your house. Add a phone line and you would have just about everything you need to start your operations. And you could be dealing with millions, hundreds of millions, or even billions of moles, amounts of money most people couldn't even imagine. This was where money created money. As it was all just numbers in a ledger or on a server, often nobody ever even saw the actual money. Calling it a money game was quite fitting. There was the thrill of watching your good judgment pay off, and the shame of watching your bad judgment sink you. You could amass a fortune you'd never be able to exhaust, or a debt you'd never be able to pay off. In the world of finance, a single person was insignificant. Because of that, those individuals could entertain their visions of grandeur, thinking that if they could succeed here, they could do anything. Speaking honestly, this was the reason why I couldn't leave this sector. I could never achieve my dreams anywhere else. Hell, the stock of the major retail chain Big Value is being sold off in bulk. It's pretty cheap. What do you think? Don't bother. I answered flatly as I looked over the research data we paid top dollar for. A huge amount of info came in every day, and it was hard to get through it all, even if you just skimmed it. Didn't you have your eye on it up until recently? Yeah, I was eyeing it. I even went to one of their stores. Big Value is one of the rare big box stores that sold everyday commodities here on the tiny lunar surface. It had been in business for around 10 years, but at some point they crept away from their traditional low prices and built up a network of branch stores carrying everything up to luxury goods and ended up seizing the market. I don't think the numbers look all that bad. Stocks are an expectation of a company's future. Sales are going to stop for a bit, so I'm in no rush to start buying up their stock. Where'd you learn that? Marco could handle more than just miscellaneous work. He also researched the stocks I picked, making reports about their characteristics, so when he knew he'd missed something, he was more displeased than embarrassed. I went to a distribution center. Meaning? I checked out the shape and quality of their shipping containers and compared them to those of a few similar companies. I also looked at how quickly they replaced those containers. Then I found their supplier and inquired about the container's manufacturer. Seems they haven't made any orders for new containers this quarter. In other words, it means they've reached their limit for goods in circulation and won't be increasing it anytime soon. Marco, his mouth agape, stared at the data he'd originally pulled up before turning back to me. Merchandise in circulation always requires something to move it around. Big Value stock is probably being sold in bulk because someone else realized the same thing I did. I sighed. Of course, despite that, we can't really short sell it either. Lapse in sales is probably temporary. They could have just been hesitating to buy new shipping containers for this quarter, but either way, it's enough information to make me cautious about buying it. I see, but I already knew what he was going to say. At that moment, the assets my fund was managing had become a little bloated. There was nowhere to invest it. It was just floating around. Well, I have been called a wooden-legged donkey for passing up investments like this before. Marco chuckled a little at that. The frightening thing about you is that you honestly believe that about yourself. I sure do. I'm a half-witted, naive, stubborn bastard of a donkey. Looking for cheap stock in this golden age is something only an idiot would do. But searching specifically for stocks that don't look like they're going anywhere is about as dumb as you can get. Right now, most people are just cows following the herd and gambling on the movements of the market. By cows, I meant those who preferred this investment technique of relying on the impulse to mindlessly invest in stocks that looked like they were rising, or as I called it, momentum. The rising price drew people in, which caused the price to rise further, which in turn caused an even bigger wave of activity. That was why those investors who were taking blind risk and just letting the markets occur and carrying them were like a herd of cattle being driven by a cowboy. 4 years ago, I managed to be the first to implement the dimension of market sentiment into a mathematical program, and I outwitted the market. But that had become all too commonplace by now. Things were decided by how far you could blindly race forward while ignoring your surroundings. Stock prices continued to climb at a rapid pace, which is why being a wood-legged donkey stopped me to think about my next move made it difficult to catch up. You're being too pessimistic. It's like I told you before, it's definitely on a downward trend, but did you take a close look at that last trade journal? It's in the top 15% for this half. Maybe it was good luck, or maybe it was just bad luck. At any rate, the moon stock market declined when Avalon collapsed because people suddenly became much more wary, and that only lasted a few months. After that, I had nowhere to go but up. As it stands, you can't guarantee a decent profit just by spreading your funds across the whole market while avoiding the duds. But I mean, my own investment performance isn't any higher than normal for this quarter, right? Anyone who put in a little effort could match me. But aren't you a wooden-legged donkey because of how impressively stable you are? There was a hint of criticism in Marco's expression. It was like he was accusing me of flaunting my humility. But I really did wear the title of wooden-legged donkey with pride. There was, of course, a good reason for that. Should this hurricane of insanity change its course, the only one who would stay on his feet would be the dim-witted but stalwart donkey. I'm just gonna say it. Those guys out there worship you because they think you're saying that out of modesty. I glowered at Marco, but this time he was the one who shrugged. Temperance and conviction are things that other people spend a lot of money trying to achieve. And they should have a chat with Dr. Wallace. To do that, they need to have temperance and conviction. I contemplated that. It's like a Zen riddle. It's pretty clear to me, actually. I can also sympathize with how they admire this Zen meditation-like thing as a way to achieve temperance and conviction. But I still wonder if it would be better to just follow the herd a little more. I snorted softly. I understood that Marco was getting a little irritated trying to get me to act. I had certainly become more reserved. Because little by little, I'd been lagging behind the market's movement, and I'd become more and more out of touch with it. The market was closed today, and the stock prices on my display remained frozen. No matter which of the thousands of companies' stock prices I looked at, they all seemed far too high from an investment perspective. Occasionally, people believed that their past successes would repeat themselves in the future, got too cocky, and started investing recklessly. But that could only get you so far. I'd asked myself countless times if I was scared of failing again. I had my own scars, and I knew from experience that other companies like Avalon might be lurking in the market. But where I was confident about reasonable risks in return, I had boldly taken the gambit and gotten the results to back my claims. If I were to tell anyone my investment returns were among the industry's top 15%, they'd tell me I was doing well. There were actually those wealthy individuals who contacted me, wanting me to invest their money for them, and handing over millions, sometimes tens of millions of moles. I used their money to build a profit and establish a not insignificant foundation for my dreams. But the fact was that the amount of risks I allowed myself to take was decreasing every day, and my legs were rapidly stiffening. Conversely, there were young guys like Eagle and his buddies who were pulling in numbers that no one had ever seen before. Just as music and clothing fell out of style, so did investing methods. This was just a fact of life. Could I be falling behind the times? Was I actually able to look at my own performance objectively, or was I just torturing myself? This was the most stable my life had ever been. I had many people supporting me. I had plenty of experience, and I was earnestly moving forward. And yet, more and more, I found I was doubting myself. Marco said it was temperance and conviction, and I think I agreed with him. He wasn't wrong. I reassured myself of that as I looked over the poster of Mars. Well, maybe it's just that they're inexperienced. You can't expect a fresh-off-the-elevator immigrant from Earth to act as discreetly as you. I wasn't sure whether he was trying to be polite or not. You're acting a bit different today, Marco. I felt embarrassed knowing he was trying to give me encouragement. The ever-honest Marco grimaced as he continued. I saw everything unfolding between you and Eleanor from the sidelines. I'm confident I understand that, unlike on TV dramas, sticking your convictions on the surface can be as cruel as it can be embarrassing. Of course, I hadn't experienced it myself. I do think I was really lucky that I got to be near you and Eleanor. Marco had an earnest look in his eyes. Once we had set in motion the events that would eventually lead to Avalon's full-blown collapse, there was no reason for Eleanor to stay on the moon. Instead of going with her, however, he requested to stay here as my assistant. Now it would be summed up as mere admiration. He knew how many times Eleanor had wanted to give up, and he knew that I had been joining a battle I'd already lost once. But he revered Eleanor, and when I joined forces with her, we accomplished something magnificent. Therefore, he began to see me the same way. And in his case, it was not mere admiration. While he still respected me, he also recognized me as the rival he needed to topple in order to ascend to new heights. That's what I like about him. He wasn't just some fanboy of Earth at the beginning of the 20th century. He was just wonderfully old-fashioned in spirit. Well, I do believe that connecting with others is important. Whether that connection proves fruitful or not is just luck, just like you said. That seemed to make him overwhelmingly happy, but he stiffened suddenly a moment later and his expression melted into one of dismay. But that's exactly why I wanted to go to the meeting with all those hotshots tonight. I stared at Marco, but he wouldn't meet my gaze. I couldn't bring myself to hate that childish side of his. I wonder wonder if that was because I was getting older. If only Maria had been also invited to that meeting. Marco nodded in disgruntled approval. I wanted to ask you. Yes? Marco's eyes darted around nervously. What kind of restaurant do you think Maria would like? After finishing my work for the day, just as the sky projectile on the surface's dome turning a flaming red, I left the Schweitzer office and headed towards Risa's church. It wasn't like since tonight's meeting would be attended exclusively by those running investment funds on the lunar surface, I had to purify myself with prayer before going. I just wanted to get some food beforehand, since this meeting wasn't exactly the kind of place where you could expect to eat and relax. Risa's church hadn't moved from the apartment complex it was 4 years ago. It looked a little nicer now, though, since its tenants took care of the yard and kept the place clean. It certainly wasn't the dilapidated building it was back then. And even though the church still took in those lost souls who had fallen on hard times, it had been attracting some more cheerful patrons recently. It always smells like milk in here. Risa laughed cheerfully. It's a sign of peace, and in some ways a reminder of the battles fought here. 4 years ago, she ran a nursery out of this place, though now it seemed to have grown into a kindergarten. It was no coincidence that the place had gotten a good cleaning, a new coat of paint, and a good reputation. Anyway, good work on the commencement ceremony. Seems like it's only going to get more hectic from here on out. Goodness, I never thought I'd live to see the day when you'd say something like that, Hal. Risa spoke cheerfully as she stood back there in the kitchen, making tea. It wasn't black tea, but the Chinese kind made with fermented tea leaves we used to drink at the church 8 years ago. It's not going to get more hectic for me, though. The ones who are really going to have a hard time are the people in that other building. There are a lot of people with unstable jobs, and even if they do find success, on the moon, there's still the risk of that success being so big it messes up your life. And if that happens, it is incredibly hard for someone to keep their sense of reason. I pray that God is watching over them. You haven't changed at all. I gave Risa a wry grin, and Risa snapped out of her wistful contemplation, shaking her head. Raina tells me the same thing. She's always reminding me to take breaks every now and then. Raina was the name of my superior from the government office I worked in 4 years ago. I was a broken loser back then. Raina had performed her job meticulously in that awful work environment. When she discovered my part in exposing the scandals surrounding Avalon, that Risa and I had roped Gazanika into helping with the housing assistance program, she had contacted me. Originally, for the management of such projects, you would want to hire someone with a solid work ethic rather than someone full of ambition. And I knew that Raina had her own convictions. She had that one thing that so many on the moon lacked, a conscience. From then on, Raina and Risa handled the administrative side of the project, and I handled the fund gathering and its management. I think Raina's got it right. You're overworked, Risa. But this is what I live for. I have a feeling I'd be worse off if I stayed still. Well, I guess if you weren't like this, you wouldn't try shouldering other people's problems, and a lot would be worse off now. Risa propped a hand on her hip, giving me an annoyed smile. Surprisingly, when her eyes met, she looked away, chuckling, then sighed. You're all grown up now. You've been saying that for the past 4 years. It's been 8 years since we met, but you'll always remind me of the little boy you used to be, Hal. Seriously. Risa grinned mischievously, just as she so often did 8 years ago. Well, if you're here, I guess that means you want dinner. Yeah, Marco has his own plans for dinner. You sure have changed a lot too, Hal, not wanting to eat all alone. Risa looked at me fondly. As embarrassing as it was, she wasn't wrong. I'd rather be together than alone. I bet you'd be a really clingy boyfriend. I just shrugged in response to her teasing. She was probably right, though. Honestly, I never thought this project would become a reality. When I came back here by myself after the ceremony had ended, it all felt like a dream. Yeah, I know what you mean. And when you think that this is just the first step... Risa gazed down into her teacup with a bewildered smile. Even if I told Mommy and Daddy that we were trying to change the lunar surface from its very roots, they wouldn't believe me. Really. They think I was just being poetic or something. But big dreams are always like that, aren't they? I want the lunar surface to become a bit more fair, a place where everyone can just stop and have some tea. I want it to become a place that's free from the storm of destiny that has raged on for thousands of years. Risa sounded like she was reading out a children's book. I'd seen with my own eyes how many times she turned greedy, money-hungry businessmen into completely different people, getting them involved in our housing project. There were many, including Risa, who had left their hardships on Earth to come to the moon. I heard she had barely escaped with her life. However, what had awaited them on the moon was far crueler and more merciless than any wilderness, the world of money-making. There are good people too, of course, so I don't want to speak too negatively, but I think this place needs just a little more kindness. Just come out and say it. It's overcome with greed. She'll make fun of me. Maybe there is a lot of greed, but we got the project up and running in spite of that. I believe that there are actually a lot of people who wanted to make the lunar surface turn out different. And there are people who came from Earth, bringing their hopes that'd be different too. Risa suddenly laughed and looked up at me. You always get a little upset when you talk about this, just like in the old days. No, I'm not. You look like a naughty boy being lectured about right and wrong. I couldn't stop myself from childishly looking away from Risa's smile. I couldn't look into that blazing star. No one's going to blame you for starting this project to further your own goals, Hal. Don't say it like that. Don't worry, I think it's adorable. Seems like something a Lunarian boy would do. That's just how it is here. My face contorted into a bigger grimace as I look away from her. She only smiled delightedly. If the lunar surface becomes a little more righteous, I'm sure more people will start to look toward the future. Then the lunar surface will no longer be the culmination of humanity's greed, but the foundation in a new frontier. You want to make this a relay station to Mars, don't you? I think that's a wonderful idea. I think it's much more fitting for you to have devised this wholesome charity project as a stepping stone rather than as an end in itself. I looked at Risa. She was smiling wholeheartedly. I scowled at her, but I didn't argue, just tilted my head. I sighed, defeated. In front of Risa, I was still the same boy I was 8 years ago. It'd be great if you could go. To Mars, I mean. I will. I was confident. Just like I was 8 years ago. Alone? I wasn't going to avoid her question, because it would mean running away from what happened 8 years ago. No. I answered boldly and Risa beamed. I'm glad. It seems you're not trying to lie to yourself like you were 4 years ago. I'll never do something like that again, you know. Realizing how much I sounded like that kid from 8 years ago, I pursed my lips. I know, but you were also serious back then. That means you needed to make this detour. Risa sighed. She resumed in a worried tone. You were able to find yourself. I know you'll be able to find Hagana. I knew she meant it. Risa knew how much time I had spent searching for Hagana, even while battling Avalon. But I knew that Risa had spent a lot of time searching for her as well. Besides, I know you're bad at giving up. You never seem to care about the girls I try to introduce you to. Well, you turned down both of them, so I know you're serious. She had obviously annoyed me. Mischief seeped into Risa's expression. The two being Eleanor and Chris, I believe. How's Eleanor doing? She's fine. Just a bit ago, she introduced me to another benefactor. Is she still angry? A childish question from Risa. Yeah, she's still holding against me that I turned her down. Oh my. Risa's eyes widened like a child receiving a present she'd been wanting, and she giggled. She does give off the air of someone who would stay a maid for 100 or 200 years, spinning tales of love in a stone castle. Actually, when she's mad, she's much louder than Gazanika and even scarier than you. I can understand that part about Mr. Gazanika, but you're comparing her to me? The story of Avalon's defeat even made it in a movie, but it's not as glamorous as people make it out to be. Eleanor's shouting was beyond terrifying. Hey, don't change the subject. What were you saying about me? There's nothing to say about you. To me, Risa, you're the embodiment of what it means to be a scary adult. Sheesh, Hal, you're a very rude boy. I laughed, unable to hold it in any longer. Risa wasn't seriously upset, though. By the way, I think the other girl will be coming for dinner later this evening. Anything you want me to tell her? Risa knitted her eyebrows as she had a headache and put a finger to her temple. I couldn't count how many times I'd seen her do that since we first crossed paths. Tell her that she should show her face around here once in a while. She loves her work so much she can't help it. I don't think she even goes home much at all. I guess that ever since we turned Chris down, she's fallen in love with her work. This was different from when we were talking about Eleanor. Now Risa's words had a sting to them. Did it ever occur to you that a joke like that might hurt me? I'm an ally of all girls in love. Besides, I don't think you really appreciate just how much I had to take care of Chris after that. She leaned forward across the table, grinding her fist into my head. Chris had saved me after I was crippled in the incident 8 years ago. I couldn't reciprocate her feelings, and I should have done right by her sooner. It still pained me that I had unintentionally hurt her. But I knew you didn't just become an adult overnight. I see her at conferences every so often, and she gets prettier every time. Honestly. Risa put her hand on her hip and sighed. You aren't growing up at all. Upon hearing those words, the hero of the lunar surface's head sank into his shoulders. I smiled bitterly, realizing that Risa was probably the only person on the lunar surface who could get away with saying that. Alright, say hello to Chris for me. Yeah. Thanks for dinner, by the way. I'll come by to eat again. I've got to admit, that side of you is just adorable. You're always going to treat me like a little boy, huh? You always will be. To me, at least. Risa spoke without a hint of reservation, smiling as she gave a little wave. I shrugged as I raised my hand in parting, and climbed into the taxi I called. Sinking into the seat, I sighed deeply. The dinner had been delicious, and I had felt comfortable there. I held my breath for a moment, and when I began breathing again, I was already shifting gears. Club 25 in Newton City, please. You got it. The driver responded and the car took off. I peered into the rearview mirror, trying to catch a glimpse of Risa, but she was already far behind me now. I didn't take out my phone to sort through my missed calls until Risa had completely disappeared from view. I guess that's because I didn't want her to see me in work mode.